don't mind.
Okay.
Okay. So with the, I'll just share. Obviously, I've been learning with the online distinction. Let me first create a new so in fact, I'm going to so can you see this screen very well? Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Okay. So this the second section is simply on the fundamentals of Python programming and the different data types that there are, and mainly there are 4 of them. So you can mainly 4 types of data. You have Booleans, which take either of two I don't want to say values, but rather they can be described, or they have 2 categories that they can fall into. It's either true or false. True or false. So if such a thing could be, if I just said A equals true and false, like that, that A has Boolean entries in it, and so if depending on what you wanted to use it for, whatever the application you are having. So, for example, if I was writing a code and I didn't want to keep mentioning, or if A as the character, as the variable that A is, has true and false in it, but at the same time has another entry, say it has a number or a string inside of it, you could, within a code, call in an entry in A as part of your code to do that. So, but mainly there is one main data type, is Booleans, true or false. Then the second type are integers, which are just numbers, and these are all the numbers: 1, 2, -1, negative, positive numbers, integers, which are whole, no decimal points, basically, and including 0 as well. And then you have floating point numbers, which now includes all numbers, especially numbers with decimal points. So integers are also can also be written as floating point numbers. So, for example, if I said that x equals 9, and then I change x to float x, and I ask it to print x, is going to change it to 9.0. So that's basically what a floating point number is basically what allows for the entry of decimal numbers and all those things. The one interesting thing, however, is there's also something called, so in Python, int is what, so float for floating point numbers, int is for integers, booleans are called bools. And what is particularly interesting with floating point numbers, when you convert an integer to a floating point number, obviously the accuracy is preserved, but when you convert a floating point number or a decimal number to an integer, you have to be very careful. So people who are doing more technical things or mathematical things and you want to preserve accuracy within your code, you need to be careful with that. So for example, if I put 1.98289 and I say I call that A equals that, and I change A equal to float A,
Yeah.
print A. Oh, I want to change A to int A. I was wondering, why is this thing not making the point I wanted to make?
Yeah. I want to convert it to an integer.
To an integer and print A. So it completely removes your accuracy. So that's something to be very careful about. And then the fourth data type are strings, and these are, anything can be a string in as much as you put it in quotes. That's all that is. So I could make B equal boy and print B just comes out with boy, removes the quote. Obviously now all these floating point numbers, booleans and integers can be written, if they are written as strings, then you automatically, you are not preserving, especially for floating point numbers and for numbers and for integers, you are not preserving what you can't use them arithmetically anymore. So if I said that D equals 2, you can't do D plus D.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Well, it makes sense, but okay, I did this is learning by trial. I didn't know it would do that normally, but yeah. So instead of, but it makes sense. Obviously, bringing two strings together, just adds up. Yeah, that's what it should do. Yeah, that's what you should do. But in the real sense of it, if we had D equals 2, then D plus D would give you what you actually want, which is 4. So that is not preserved. And I think the last part, I've already done the last part of my section, which is storing data using variables. That's what I've been doing all the while. So when I said that B was equal to boy in entry 8, I was simply making B a variable, and so that every time I call B, it just tells me that it's boy. And so that's really it about variables and storing data and data types.
Great. And we go to chapter 3.
Let me stop share. Yes, part 3.
So if you talk about the data type, so you also talk about, it's supposed to talk about operators too. So that particular course jumped operators. So we're talking about basic mathematical operators like plus,
minus, divide,
and so which you can do with most of, especially the integers and the floating number. So which normally as write 2 plus 2 give us 4, or 2 times 3 give us, say,
that's true. You said
2 minus 1 give us 1, or division, which is the backward slash, give us 1.0, and then equal to 2. So we say 2 is equal to 2, and then it's able to respond in the Boolean saying true.
Okay.
So and then you said 2 equal to 3 is able to say false, to be able to respond and say false. And then if you say 5 multiplied by 4 plus 2, we have the Bodmer's bracket of division. So it's able to ensure that it's multiplication that comes before. So it's multiplied 4 times 5, then plus 2. Instead of 4 plus 2 by, so it's able to follow the rule of bracket of
Bodmer's.
And then if we want to now separate that instruction, we'll be able to say we actually want 5 to multiply with the summation of 4 and 2. And then the other aspect of it is like the assignments of variables, which you've also explained. So I just use here like assigning x3 to x, 5 to y, and 7 to z, and then coming to take those assignments to and operating on those things instead of operating on those data. And that's why, for instance, as I declare this, and then it's able to give us the multiplication of what we actually put inside x and y. One thing at times with Jupyter that I don't like is the fact that at times it will not respond. You run a code, it will not respond. Even though we are not running it online, we're running it via wherever. So at times we just use the what we call it, the shell, the Python shell. So, but for the sake of this, we just keep using that. But now it's just withholding. It's supposed to give a result of x multiplied by y and assign it into A, and then assign this also into B, that's y multiplying, so that it can be able to print
A.
Out. So it's able to give A is now this and B is now this. And I was now still trying more complex operation that you now can now begin to do. And this takes us back to complex mathematical works in which you can be able to set as much as variables you want and then begin to operate on them and reuse them for different purposes and for different purposes. And so just playing along with something like this. So I was just identifying the manipulation. And another thing that is new in the entire manipulation is the idea of plus equal to, which is increment, So if, for instance, now, as I used x here, that x is equal to 3, and y is equal to x, and x is equal to 5. So when I say print y and print x, even though I've assigned 3 to x before, but the fact that I assign y to x overrule whatever value that has been defined as x. So when I say x is 3, then I assign the value inside x to y. So y takes 3. Then I now say x is 5. Y will not change, but x has changed.
Y won't change.
Y will not change.
Okay, because y was assigned before x was reassigned.
That before x was reassigned. So when I print, it now turns to. So the whole idea of assignment and the whole, and then you notice that as you also operate, I have to now reassign again. Say x is equal to 3 again. Then x is equal to x plus 1. So when I say x is equal to x plus 1, and when I say print x, even though x is 3, it will give 4. If I still say now, if I rerun this code, it has stored in executable now that x is 4. If I run this code,
it will be 5.
Okay, that's increment again. So it will be 5. If I said x plus equal to 1 and print x, it will be 5. Then if I say x minus
go back to 4.
Go back to 4. Then I say x multiply equal to 2. Then print x. Then it will give 8 because it's like x.
Do this operation to x.
Exactly of itself. And then if I say x divide equal to 2, it will divide whatever thing is stored.
And I returns a floating number. That's interesting.
And return the floating number. And then the other part of it is also the awareness of this, what we call it, the awareness of this data type, and then instrumenting them in real life equation. It's just like talking about creating a kind of a statement or an algorithm that can always give anybody that requests for it their, what we call it, their area. So area of a particular circle.
Okay.
So knowing that the formula for area of a circle is pi r squared.
Okay.
What we need to get from the person is r. So here comes the function called input, so which can allow the users to put input. So I said assign pi with normal thing what pi is, then ask the users whatever radius the person provides. So what I just did is, and if the person provide any radius, let's say for instance now I delete this like input. So I just say, because input is like what you use to receive as a function you use to receive anything. So let me add a cell above this first. Let me add a new cell. Here is the cell now. Where I should talk. Okay. I was trying to add cell. Insert cell above. Okay. So I now say, let's say for instance, now you want to use, let's say the input as a function, which will you use instead of assigning and giving value, you can enable anybody to be able to use. So let's say for instance, you say input, and then you put whatever instruction you said, what's your name? So if you say input, what is your name? And it will print out to the person to type the person's name.
Yeah.
So, but you know, at times, in order to take whatever you have assigned as input, it's always good you now whatever the person input, give it as a variable. So you can just say my name as the variable equal to, so whatever the person put inside. And so if the person put my name, right, as the input, the person places inside. Okay, and then I should add something to it. I say print my name so that it can be able to.
Yeah. No, I think
that's the same.
Okay.
The same logic that I apply here to say let the person provide the radius by the person self, and then the formula is pi multiplied by radius multiplied by radius. So it's a print, so it's going to give the area. And this thing I started that I said that I don't like about what we call it. I don't like about
the Jupyter environment.
Jupyter, yeah. Whether you are offline or you're online, keep doing that. So let me just go straight to the shell. So I just take that. And so what we did over there, we're saying my name equal to input into brackets. What is your name? Close that. You said what is your name? You said Augustine. Then print, what do we call it? Name. Augustine.
And you suppress
Huh?
Okay, continue. I'll ask later.
Okay. No, I think I've paused recording.
No, you haven't. It's still running.
So the next thing that I was now talking about is also the manipulation that we can also do with strings before we go into talking about function. So let's say, for instance, now we want to ask a question or want to ask someone for the person's name or the person's department. for and the person's college. So you can be able to say, okay, let's assign. You can do it manually and say name, and say the name should be Augustine Ayola, and you say department equal to English. So basically, the way we assign variables.
Yeah.
English literature and college. Okay. College. Oh. Now, having declared this, then one can now be able to use the whole idea of concatenation. You see, when you use 2 and 2 the other time, 2 plus 2 as the strings, which gives 22, because it didn't identify them as an integer.
Numbers.
Same thing too is the way it works with strings. So we can be able to say print, and then you begin to write normal statements. You know, let's say my name is, and then I say at this point, I want name to come in, so to bring in name, and then you can put full stop. I put full stop. So my name is, you should take whatever name that we have supplied as name, and then we continue and say I am from the department. So we can be able to say the department. I mean, from the department of. So instead of writing all those things, I just pick department. So I'm from department of. So I stop that quotation, comma, then put department. And you can see that it changes the color because it knows that I'm calling something, and then I'm writing. And those things, it was writing red in the Jupyter, it's writing it in the college of, then I can now say college. I can now close. Now let me cross check before it gives me error. So it's able to take that. My name is Augustine Ayola. I'm from the Department of English Literature in the College of Art and Law. So in this sense, it's able to also take the variables and that is already stored and bring it back. But we can also do this by allowing it to take variable from the user. So in such a way that if the person has filled a form, you just be able to say, hello, Augustine. So what is going on in the Department of English Literature? And are you sure the department is staying in College of Arts, you know? So it begins to pick from those things that we have already instructed it ahead. So we can use input in this sense, right? We can use the idea of input, name is equal to input, let the person supply what the person, so
yeah. What's your name?
So we can say name is equal to input, and put in quotation, what is your name? And then we close that. And then the problem I have when doing this in Excel is that instead of allowing you to write the entire
finish your script, yeah, it will be asking you your question. Well, have you tried putting because that's actually the question I wanted to ask earlier that I said I'll ask later. That is there now a way to suppress output? Because in R, you can suppress with a semicolon. So I wanted to say, do you want to try that here? But
you know, we are relating with the machine directly. So it does the compilation straight away because it enjoys it. That's why it doesn't face any delay. It doesn't face because it's relating straight, like direct with machine, converting it from whatever we're doing, just like when one is using command prompt. But I can go back to what we call it, to the Jupyter, or we can let me
Or
see
let's use
whether
your that other environment where PyCharm.
PyCharm.
Hmm.
PyCharm. Let's try that. PyCharm. So that means let me share my what we call it.
Yeah, you have to share the
Yeah,
okay, the
entire system. So that you'll be able to see how you get that. So, entire screen. So so I think I have the PyCharm already installed on this. So I install PyCharm Community Edition. That's various edition. 2019 is 2020. So let me see the one I used last. The problem with PyCharm, right, is that you don't just get to PyCharm and just start typing code. Do you get interactive? You have to integrate the scripts and the module so that to be able to know, because PyCharm can compile other languages. So let me just let me open the PyCharm. And while I do that, okay. I don't know how where the PyCharm is coming up. You can see my entire system, right?
yes, I can see it.
So let me see whether I can pick. I think I picked 2019 the other time. Or was it 2020 I picked?
I don't recollect.
Okay, let me pick 2019 and run as administrator. The issue is there are many other things still open on my system. So I don't know what.
Do you know I was even going to ask you which computer you're using that is accepting all these things and is not shouting.
I'm telling you that I open many things. I find it difficult to what do we call it, to shut system down. That is
yeah, but my own I find it difficult to shut down my system. So, but the thing shuts down itself.
So,
in the middle of work, let me just share. I wanted to use my shell.
You want to use your shell? Use your shell now. For me, when I started learning, even when I'm in public, I try to use shell because shell makes me look like a serious person, or like a programmer than Jupyter.
Really? It's because me I've not used shell before, so I'm saying let me just try something new. And
yeah, shell. You know, when you open shell and somebody see that someone is programming,
they'll be doing on the train, you just bring it out. You just be typing.
Command prompt. That's how somebody bring out and be operating your system through command prompt.
Hey, and I see your show off. Okay, now so how do you clear? Let me just try something. It doesn't work. Or is it just straight clear? How do you clear your?
Yeah, on shell.
Yeah. Okay. I'm trying a lot of things.
It's command prompts that you can use clear.
Okay, so on shell you don't clear.
You can get a new one. You can just get a new one, a new shell. If you don't want to use the former this present one. Let me be clear, but maybe I've not tried that before.
Yeah, I think in R it's like CLR. But anyway, let me just
Oh, you're an expert in R. Maybe we should start.
No, I'm not expert in R. It's just that I happen to use R in my undergrad. So I used R and MATLAB in my undergrad. But
classes in R and MATLAB too. So we can we'll be mixing the languages together.
Yeah, we can mixing them.
JavaScript was also what came to my mind. That
Okay, Java, I mean, but okay, yeah, Java. Okay.
because if you learn the programming finished and you program whatever application or whatever we develop, you still need JavaScript to make the environment looks nice, so that it won't look just rugged. So I just feel that learning JavaScript is for the interface, because if you develop, like for instance, now let's say we do the SEB introduction thing. If you put the code within a framework that JavaScript will bring the output, it will be so beautiful that things will move in as if, and then they'll be able to more interactive.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe we include it in our courses too.
Yeah, that's obviously, yeah, we can do that. We can definitely do that on the learning on the side. It's never too nothing is too it's always, if it's a good thing, it is a good thing. So okay, so conditional statements simply control the flow of your code, or they're basically decision-making points within what you're trying to do, or the code you're trying to write and you're trying to type. So it's a decision-making thing. Sometimes, depending on the kind of code you're writing or the kind of thing that you want to achieve, you want to be able to, before taking another action, you want to ascertain some things. You want to know whether this is the case or this is not the case. And then if statements help you. For example, I just have let me assign to n the input now what EL study, what EL study are you in? Still doesn't suppress. Okay, what EL study are you in? And then if I know it can't work, I need I need to write out this thing first.
Why did it not work?
No, I need to write out the whole function, because I don't want it to be asked. I don't want to answer the question.
Line by line.
No, I don't want that. I need to use Jupyter. Okay, so can you see my screen? Okay.
I can see it.
You can see my command prompt. Okay, so can you see? Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just clear. So okay, because I didn't put return here.
Okay.
I think that's why. If I put one.
No, it's the indentation of the print.
So we
don't need to use return. Return is more or less for function. I mean, the print should be indented. You said if n is equal to a, that's the one in a, right? Then you should say, how so far are you copying? Now, we not, you have to convert that into integer so that.
Oh yeah, that's the.
So it's one.
So n, that's the problem. N equals int n.
Yeah.
I was wondering why. Thank you. So if I do this, exactly. So that's the that's the if statement working there. Now, obviously, there are more complex things that one could do, it depending on what you're doing. So let's assume, for example, do something more language or linguistic, whatever. If I said that a now instead is equal to a tuple containing I am feeling well, not too good, always excited, and I don't know my life. You have that one there, and then we say let n equal input. How are you feeling today? And so the string is okay. Now, if now n takes the same value as a, let's say a1, not too good, return. I think I'm just going to move into the else if part as well.
Okay.
Return. Oh no, not return. Print. What seems to be the problem. Seems to be the problem. Thing is that I have another computer. Okay. What seems to be the problem? And I need this one. Else. I need an elif here. Okay. So the if comes when you use only one if. If there is no, in my finding anyway, not like I read it anyway, but when there is not too many objects of comparison or too many things that you're comparing together. But if you have several different occurrences, then you use an else if and else. Here is called elif. In I think in R is else if, and I think in MATLAB too is else if. So use an else if for those kinds of comparisons. So else if and because I don't want to.
Or you can use else. Just use else. Else if is in Python is when it's plenty, when you want to give a lot of condition.
Okay, yeah, when you want to do this and this occurring at the same time.
Let's say you are using dice and two people are playing dice and you are saying that the person will win when the summation of the two dice equals to 7. Otherwise, if it equals to, that means if you play two dice together, the maximum we can get is 12.
12.
But you are saying it's only when the person gets any combination.
A combination of 7.
So it can be 5, it can be 4-3.
4-3.
It can be anything.
Yeah.
Now, what you now begin to do is, if you want to program for such kind of thing, you know that the variables of the possibility will be plenty. So the person can provide, some dice can be, the summation can be 10, summation can be 11, summation can be, or 7 is the winning. So if you are doing summation, you can say if it is 7, then you say the person has won. else if it is
Then
where if else if we cover the
mm,
rest, that's where else
mm,
comes in. Right?
yeah,
Sorry.
that's true. So else, um, else, else you print. No, I don't. Okay. Else you print. Say, for example, how may I be of help? I don't know.
Yeah, the else should
This.
print should go backward, and then you don't need a column for the s. So the print should go backward, back to the beginning, back to the else, back to the else itself. The else. And I was thinking if there should be a full column in front of A1.
Yeah, definitely. I
Uh,
missed that one.
let me see. What is wrong?
Investigation. Oh, okay.
Is what seems to be the problem. Line 4, print. What else? Okay, the quotation. What else? There's quotation missing. What seems to.
Okay. Oh, that's true. Let's see. Still something wrong in line 5.
It's line 5, right? How will make V of F? Maybe there should be space, or maybe after the else there should be indentation. Else,
After the else.
and maybe, or the else should be indented. The S should be indented. This thing
Are you sure
value.
that the, let me see. What did you
Maybe you
say?
should use the way you want to do the else before.
Wait, let me see. Let me change the indentation back. Entry.
And so that's why I feel like it's trying to pick from the two pony. It did not work.
Let me see. So now, if I put.
Not too.
Still not working. List objective is not callable. Now, okay, so wait, let me just
that we should be brainstorming. I enjoy this part of programming, brainstorming and decoding.
Let me see. What does it do when it calls A1? Oh, print A1. Interesting. It's not even doing anything.
It's like this. The Jupyter started its behavior. It's Jupyter that is behaving. You see, it's not changing. You see, it's not changing its number. Okay, end this one. End this one for you.
I should end with. Okay, this one.
End whatever you are doing there. Okay, and then continue with the other ones. Let's just leave it that way.
See, nothing. It's not calling it.
List object is not callable. Let's try the print. Do the print. What about the print?
Yeah, still a problem. So that's where the problem is with this code, is that this thing is not calling it.
Why is not calling it? You should be able to call it.
Interesting.
How are you feeling? Can you send me the entire thing? The entire line 36 on chat. Let me try it here. Because one creative thing about this whole thing is the brainstorming part of it.
Okay, so I've sent it to the chat. Let me look through. So Okay, maybe I should call with a square bracket, not
Okay.
Oh, I see it. The problem, the problem was the square bracket.
Square
You
bracket.
call with, yeah, you call with a square bracket, not a whatever. So now that I've done this, not too good.
Remove the square bracket.
So instead of A into circular bracket, I did A into square bracket. Now it's working.
A into what?
So it's square bracket, not circular.
Oh, the A that you used. It's like small thing,
Can you imagine? My internal assessor.
You were just
that,
as in you're looking at it as she'll go anywhere.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, at least these kinds of things means you find it difficult to forget next time that it's
exactly,
square,
and it means that even when if you copy, like one of the things I found out with debugging, this kind of thing we did was the fact that there are lots of codes that I end up using from what people have used, and it will not work for me because I have to do a lot of editing and looking at a lot of things. And this kind of thing, realize what the problem lies because you're adapting it. So it's you're able to edit because you understand everything. You understand every part of the element.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. So it's okay. So that's how an else works. I want to use a more okay. Let me see. Okay, let me run the same code now. So how are you feeling today? Let me now do what will trigger the else part. Okay, that's another part. Okay, I didn't change this thing. Okay.
Yeah, I use always excited. So you now
how may I be of help? Okay. So, but obviously, I'm just making this one up from the top. If I wanted to change this thing, and let's change it to more numbers rather than so let me create. So this is this is a list that I've made. Let me make it a list. Let's say of numbers 1, 2, 3, 9, and 10, and I say. And I say pick a number between print A. I hope that will work.
doesn't work with debugging.
So now if n is
imagine someone is now, let me pause recording. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you